Oh, hello. Welcome into my workshop and welcome to the show Creations of Clay. My name is Louis Palladini, and today we're going to paint that polar bear cub head that we did last week. I'm going to show you how to paint this from start to finish, and I think it turned out really well, and I'll show you the colors that we'll be using today. We're going to be using, where I'm using white today, I'm going to use something a little different. I have this primer. Usually when you're doing 2 coats of white, you want to use, I figured using the primer, and then I'll use a regular white coat of paint on that, because you need to, because it make it look better. Then we're going to be using these acrylic paints. We're going to be using, other than white, we're going to be using like an off-white here. And then we're going to be using a little black, a little brown, and we have a little blue that I'll mix with the white paint later. So it'll kind of give it like a blue hue and everything. So I do want to show you the first coat that we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the white color, and we're going to be painting the bear that. And let's see, put that right there. We're going to start to paint this white color. Right there. Wow, it's looking beautiful. So we paint the entire thing. So now that's the second coat of white. That's the actual acrylic paints. Because if we didn't put the 2 coats, you know, you might be able to see the clay still, and I didn't want you to be able to see that. That's why we wanted the 2 coats. So this is almost done. So now I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Next thing we're going to do, we'll keep him there. I'm going to put this under the hair dryer. That way we can dry him. The next thing that we want to do is I want to add another color white, but it's like an off-white. It's just a little shade darker. So got that. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to just touch it up in some areas. I'm not going to hit, just going to flick it a little bit here and there. We're not going to cover the white completely, but I just want to add a little variation of color. So that's why we're doing that. See that? We're going to just kind of hit it in different areas, just like that. See that? Just going to and then I'm going to rotate, hit a little more air here. Yeah, he's starting to come along nicely. Just want to dab a few areas in the front, especially around the Just a little flick here and there. See, I didn't cover it completely, but I'm just giving it a little more variation in color. That's why I want to add that. Yep, that's looking nice. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to do the nose and the mouth. So what I'm going to do is we're going to paint that with black. So I'm going to put the black right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the inside of the mouth here black. We're not going to show a lot of detail in the mouth. That's why I want to paint it black. That way, when you're looking at it, it looks pretty good. So let's see. Now we'll paint the nose. Just want to dab that ever so slightly. See that? Want to make sure I paint all around that nose. And then there's like a little area in between here that I want to paint. See that? Makes it a little more pronounced. Now, the next thing that I want to do is we want to paint the eyes. So what I'm going to use is a color brown. It's like a light color brown. And this will be very good for doing the eyes. So what I'm going to do, I got a nice fine point brush right here. We're going to use this right here. And I'm going to paint the eyes right here. See how we got that one eye done of that? Now we're going to do the other one. Just going to touch that up a little bit. See how I did those? Now, this is where the good part comes in. We're going to finish it with the eye. And I'm going to use this with a nice fine point. So what I'm going to do is take the black paint now that we just had, and I'm going to dab right here. And then I'll do the same on the other side. See that? You just dab it like that. That gives it a really nice look. We're going to go back in with that light brown paint that I had, right? And we're going to dab the ears a little bit here. See that? And we'll do the same thing here. See that? Gives us some nice variation in color. The next thing that we want to do is I want to take and we're going to mix white and blue together. So what we're going to do is I'll add a little more white here that we had. And then I'm just going to put a little drop of blue beside it. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to mix those together. So take a little dab of blue, throw it in there. Take the blue over there so we can mix it in a little bit now. Just want to mix those together a little bit that way. So it makes a light blue color. So let me just clean this up a little bit. Get that. And what I want to do is just get there's a slight light blue hue on here. I'm just going to flick it ever so lightly. So I'm going to take a little bit of this light blue and just kind of flick it here and there. But you know what? I'm going to use a different brush, I think. I want to go back to the one I had. This right here. I like this brush here, so just maybe just a little bit of ever so slightly, just give it a slight little blue. So what I'm going to do now we got a little blue in there. I want to tone the blue down a little bit. So I'm going to come back in with my off-white color that I had here. Just kind of go over that a little bit. Go over that again. See that? I want to tone the blue down a little bit now. That's why I'm doing that. Just go over that a little bit like that. You just want to have a slight hint of blue in there. Now we'll tone that down a little bit like that. That's looking good. See that? I think it adds to it, that little blue hue. There's one other area I do want to paint with the blue. That we're going to take a little bit of this blue paint here, the one that we mixed together, and it's going to touch this a little bit, do the top of the nose. See that? It just adds to it. And let's see, we want, yeah, that looks good. So the next step in this process is, what I usually do is take this UV resistant clear acrylic coating. You do this outside and shake it up. It's got the, you can hear that banging around. Go outside and just give it a light coat like that. You'd spray it on like that, and then it would give it a nice, glossy look to it. So I will show you what the final product will look like on the bear, and this is what the final bear will look like. So I'll kind of rotate that around so you can see it. See how I did the little slight blue on the nose? It's got that slight blue hue all through the fur. See how we did the nice brown inside the ears? There, the nice brown on the eyes, then we dabbed it to make with the black to make the pupil. So I'll just kind of rotate that around so you can see it. And I don't paint the very bottom, we don't need to do that. But that's what the final version of the polar bear cub will look like. And I do want to thank you for coming to the show, Creations in Clay, and I do look forward to seeing you again next week. Goodbye for now.